So yesterday, I spent the day doing my first all-day workshop, the one that I'm offering to the community as a whole on May 13th about creating your life vision. And one of the things that really came up is as we did this workshop, we explored each area of life. And we explored the area of life and said, okay, in relationships, what is it? What is my vision for this relationship? And what I've noticed as the many times that I've done this exercise, each of us gets pause that we can come with 2 or 3 things in it. And yet there's infinite things that we can have. But our mind is only scoped around a square box of what's there. So what I've understand is that whatever that is that an individual's thinking becomes the law of averages for that individual. And if you start to embody this idea of what's going on in the world today, what is the overall feeling that's going on in the country, in the world, in the state of Texas, it's all driven by the law of averages. So when you hear all the stuff coming at you from all the various directions of perspectives, whether it be from the television, the radio, the newspapers, the magazines, the churches, the school systems, whatever it is, all of that coming together forms an average. And if we listen to that and that becomes what we start to think and what we start to believe, then we have an average experience. So then I go into the idea and I say, so how does spirituality fit into this? And here's what I got. We do spiritual practice for one reason and one reason only, so that we can transcend the law of averages. Do you see that? You transcend the law of averages when you do your spiritual practice, which takes you out of average, brings you into a state of oneness with all that is. And in that state of oneness, there is no limitation of any sort. And so now when we look at, let's say, a relationship, we can create a whole array of things that we want to see in that relationship. And we're not bound by precedent. We're not bound by the past experiences. We're not bound by the opinions of others. Because here's the thing that holds us back in life bigger than anything: our desire to please others. Can I get any more clear about that? The second we desire to please others, and that desire requires us to become different than the authentic self we are, we have sacrificed our very being, and we're going to enter into the bowels of hell. Can I be more clear about the bowels of hell? The bowels of hell are when you are not your unique self, and when you're not your unique self, the more you can't be your unique self, the more you're in a relationship or in a situation, in a work environment, whatever that environment is, the more you're not yourself, there will become an underlying pain that will start permeating your all-being, and that's where depression comes from, that's where illness comes from, all of these things that we call physical disease or mental disease, they're really a process of us not being our whole self, because if we were our whole self, we would be in alignment with the infinite power and presence, and the infinite power and presence only knows health and well-being. So today my talk is going to be about what is the one decision you can make that can change your life forever. Today, I want to be able to present to you what decision can you make today that will change your life forever. But we're going to start. I want to build a basis so that you can build up a set of confidence, a set of ideas within yourself that will give you the desire and the power. So I'm going to come right here. The creative process, once understood, allows us to consciously create whatever we choose. You see, but the key thing is, we don't fully understand this creative process. And so our job is to embody what is the idea? What is this power and presence that is in me right now that can do this and create it? So we're going to go further with it. We're going to say, spirit, that aspect of us, that intuitive nature within us, both selects what we want to create and then it initiates the creative process. So spirit as us, the uniqueness of us, is always seeking to create. It's always seeking to determine what it is that's unique that we want. And when it determines what it is, it must initiate the process. So in other words, if I'm a farmer and I want to plant corn, I have to select a corn seed, and I have to initiate the process by planting the seed in the soil. That's all that this statement is saying. So you, through the process of your thoughts, plant a seed deep within yourself of what it is you want to experience, and then you nourish it. And we come to the mind, that aspect of us that is an aspect of God that creates. The mind obeys and creates whatever spirit has chosen. It possesses all knowledge and it can do anything. But the mind or the law or the creative aspect, it never initiates. It never initiates the creative process. This infinite wisdom that creates all the time, it just responds. The aspect of us that is divine, that is a spirit, it is the initiator. So we have a law within us that takes the sum total of all of our thoughts, right? That's what we're planting in the garden, the sum total of all our thoughts. It plants that into the soil. The soil says, that is what you've given me, therefore I create it. And then what happens? The body is simply an outpicturing of an idea from spirit created by the mind. So your physical body right now is a creation of your mind's conscious and unconscious, self-chosen or unchosen, but accepted idea of what physical body should be for you at this time. It does that with respect to money. It does that respect to relationships. It does that respect to every aspect of life. Do you understand, can see from this, how personal responsibility is with you? Because if we come back to the very premise that we talk about, God is an individualization in us. The infinite power and presence that created everything, and it's not a being, it's an it that is everything, and it decided it wanted to create individualized expressions of it, so it created each of us and gave us all of it as a part of it. So we are all made up of God stuff. A lot of people say we're stardust. All the stars are made of us, or we're light because God is the light. So it's the whole idea. Every religion has a different way of saying it. I'm a child of God. I'm a Buddha creation, whatever. It doesn't matter. We are it individualized. Now, when we embody that it, that means that the power of it resides in us and responds to us. So then, what is that one decision that will change your life forever? I will never, repeat that, I will never say anything about myself I do not want to experience. Now, I want you to breathe that in. I will never say anything about myself that I do not want to experience. If I'm a conscious creator, I will never put anything into the future. I will never say, I want to have this. That's putting it off into future. Wait a second. I have the power of God. I create that now in my mind. I create it now in my mind, not in the future. I don't hope that this will happen. Hoping it happens means there's a power outside of me that I've got to turn to help me get it. No, I don't hope. I know it is done unto me as I believe. Isn't that what Jesus said? It is done unto us as we believe. He didn't say maybe. He didn't say hope. He didn't say want. He said it is done. That's what we have to say. I know it is done now. It's a very powerful statement. It's stepping beyond the illusion of humanality, beyond the illusion of separation, and it's stepping into the, I am powerful, and I'm going to use my power now, and I'm not going to back away from that power. So if we make that decision, never say anything, I will speak only about what I want to experience. So when I'm talking to someone, I'm not bitching and moaning about where my life's been. I'm not complaining about my life in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking about who I am and where I'm going right now, and where I am right now is perfect. You see, you cannot self-love until you accept that right now you're perfect. Because when you accept who you are, you love yourself. If you haven't accepted where you are and you're hoping to love yourself in the future, you're in a really state of hate. Because what is the opposite of love? Hate. So if you can't accept yourself as you are, then what you're saying to the law is, I hate myself, and give me the law of averages that hate produces. That sucks, doesn't it? But I'm really putting this out there, so that personal responsibility, I want to put that into your mindset and says, when they say, what's the best definition of God? I am that which I am. So anything we put after I am becomes what we are. So we've got to be really cautious about those words. Never, ever, ever belittle yourself to anyone at any time. Accept yourself where you are. In any moment, I look back on my life and I go to all the things I've ever done, and if I'm truly honest that in the moment I made any decision or I did any activity, in that moment, I did the best I could. In that moment, regardless of where I was doing the very, very best I could. It may not have been the best I can do today, or it may not have been the best I could have done yesterday or the day after, but in this moment, right now, I am being the best Lee I know how to. I'm speaking at the best way I can to touch your heart at a way that wakes you up. That's my goal. Is I want to shake you. I want to tickle you. I want to stimulate you. I want to wake you up to the power that's in you. And I don't know what that's like. But I know I can't change you, but I can help wake you up. I can maybe inspire you. I may wake you up by making you pissed off. Sometimes that's what happens. When we get ticked off over something, that can be the jolt that wakes us up. Tony Robbins, when he's in one of his seminars, he'll throw out the F-bomb left and right because he's throwing out the word to wake people up. He's startling them, trying to get them back to an idea that, wait a second, what you're thinking is an illusion. That's race consciousness. Let's come back. Let's reclaim the power within. Okay? I will leave my failures behind. Guess what? In order to grow, you have to fail. You have to. Through failure, we learn and we can become more. But once we've failed and we see the reason, we never talk about it again. We let it go. It's not who we are. So if we hold on to our failures, if I hold on to the fact that I was fired from a job in 1989 and I'm still holding that idea in my mind right now, that's influencing my thought process and that's who I am in the world. I have to realize that why I got let go in 89 is I was no longer a vibrational match to that management team doing that type of thing. There was nothing bad about that. It was just vibrations of different nature can't be together. I wasn't living my life's purpose. So naturally, if you're not living your life's purpose, it's easy to get fired. Think about that. If you're doing something that's not your life purpose, bam, the law is going to come in and say, we'll wake you up, you'll lose that job. We'll wake you up, you'll lose that partner. We'll wake you up, you've got to find a different way to get money. We'll wake you up in any way possible until you get the idea that the world is seeking. This is what the world is seeking. It's seeking for you to show up as authentic as you possibly can because the world has been waiting for you for eternity. Do you realize that you are an eternal being? You're an expression of the divine right here and now. And the world is always there waiting to behold and embrace the uniqueness and the perfection of you because there is no one else in the world like you. There will never be anyone else like you. I will focus on my successes. This is where you put your emphasis because when you focus on your successes, you go into a state of gratitude. And when you're going into a gratitude, that infinite power and presence within you sees how powerful you are. It knows how powerful you are. Based on the successes that you're focusing on, you're really reinforcing everything. And when you say thank you, when you say, I give thanks for my life, I give thanks for everything in my life, you see, gratitude goes to that. We must be grateful for everything that has ever happened to us. Otherwise, we see things were not good for us when in fact everything was. Everything that happened to us. Let me rephrase that. It's not everything that happens to us is our responsibility, but how we respond to everything that happens to us is our responsibility. Our experience of a situation is our responsibility. There are things that happen because we live in a community, we live in the law of averages. How we respond to it, though, we get to choose that. It's in that choice that we have our power. And here it is. I will act as if I'm already the person I want to be. This is, some people say fake it till you make it. I really don't go there with that. I go there and say, okay, if I was this man that I truly vision in my mind, how would I be in this moment? And I become it now. I become that power, I become that presence. I want to be on television. I will be on television. I have been on television. I am on television. Notice the transition of my words. I am on television. I know that to be true. I know that to be true because a week ago I was filmed. I know that because I set that intention out there. What intention are you willing to set out there? What are you willing to claim that you've been hiding from? See, there's a mental process that we go through that determines self-worth. And it's really critical that we embody that. I always wondered, how does an individual that is a professional speaker, worldwide professional speaker, how do they get to counsel someone and charge $3,000 an hour? Can you imagine getting $3,000 an hour for what you present? If you say you can imagine it, are you it now? Have you gotten $3,000 an hour? Okay, if you have, you understand that feeling. What I understand is that to get to your goal, it's building. It's a stepping stone process. So it's like I watched this week how I stepped into that. And I'd set my own self-worth. I do workshops. How many people have been in my values workshop? Just about everybody. I mean, just about everyone's done my values workshop or my relationship workshop or all of those things. What's my normal charge? $35 to $40, is that right? So what have I set to the universe? I said to the universe, I have a worth of doing a $35 to $40 workshop. That's the value that I perceived I had, right? Saturday when I did my workshop, it was $250. Do you see what just happened? My own mental image shifted in that moment. My next thing is I'll be moving to 500. Because what I'm understanding is there is a value there. I just haven't embraced the value. When I've embraced the value, everyone else will embrace the value, you see? Because people are only going to value you as much as you value yourself. And it doesn't matter what you do. But people value you based on your own self-value, and your own self-value comes from when you make the decision that the most important person in your life is you, and you are now making a decision to never talk anyway about what you want to be in life. You have now made a decision, and when you make a decision, you are committing to it, and committing to it, there is no other alternative. So if you've made a decision to do your spiritual practice, you say, well, it was a tough week, I didn't get to it. You didn't make a decision. Really clear? So people are always offering me, Reverend Lee, I have this excuse, I have that excuse, I have that excuse. Well, I really understand. They've just not made a decision. I'm not going to judge them for it, but they haven't made a decision. If they want to come to me and say, I made the decision, I'll gently and lovingly, with all the sweetness in my personality, and you can tell how sweet I am, I will say, well, if you made the decision, how come you didn't live it? See, that's what I'm understanding a spiritual teacher is. A spiritual teacher is not one who coddles, not one who will accept excuses. A spiritual teacher wants to mirror back to you, you said this, how come? What is it going to take for you to step into your power? You hearing that? That's what it's about. That's why we're gathered in this community together. We're gathered together so that we can support each other by not allowing ourselves to see the lower self, but to see the higher self. That's what it means to be in oneness. Oneness only knows the magnificence. Oneness does not know limitation. Oneness does not accept limitation. I'm a parent of 2 sons. I do not accept that my sons are limited. If I don't accept my sons as limited, how can I accept myself as limited? I can only accept someone as free as I see myself. So do you want to be free? Do you really want to be free? Your heart inside is saying yes. But there may be a mental image that's scared. I invite you to just take this much of a step. This much a step and become conscious. This much a step and embrace that you're okay. This much, just accept yourself this much. Today, just accept yourself. That everything in your life has had its purpose, and that purpose is perfect. That purpose is perfect because you are. Nothing else I can say has more truth is that in this moment, you are perfect. That's all I see in you. And when I see that, I know that I'm in love with you. If you can see me through all of my flaws, through all of my strong points, and you accept me as I am, then you're loving me. And what I want is a relationship with you that does the same. Let's go within. So close your eyes. And so as I speak right in this moment, let my words be your words. Really get the feeling of what I'm about to say, and let that feeling, that as I speak it, whether it be for myself or for others, let it just fill and embody your very being. And know, in this moment, there's only love. That love is infinite. It is all-knowing. It is everywhere present. That love is right here. With every breath that I breathe, love fills my body. And my body is rejuvenated, and it regenerates itself in perfect health. With every breath I breathe, I feel the very presence and abundance of the infinite nature of God. And that infinite nature of abundance now becomes my infinite nature. With every breath I breathe, I feel a connection to life, to love, to beauty, to peace, to my fellow humankind, to the Mother Earth, to all the plants and animals. And it returns in loving me. I now go within and I embody the truth of who I am, that I am free. I can choose. I have power. The power is within me, responds to me, and gives and births within me the experience and feeling which demonstrates in my outer world. I embrace that truth. I embrace that power. I joyfully step into it because my heart leads me to it, and there's nothing more I desire than to be my authentic, real self. And so in that consciousness, I see the power, the presence, and the love, and the uniqueness that I am. And for that, I just go into a state of eternal gratitude, and I give thanks for it. I bless it. I call it good. I allow nothing to get in the way of it. I accept nothing else. I step into the world boldly, completely, and uniquely as me, and it is good. And the world says, yes, it is. And I affirm it with you as we say. And so it is. Amen.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.